Hello, everybody. My name is Matthew Miller, and welcome in to a special edition of the 40 Acres Show. I'm here after every Texas football game on Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, specifically the Texas YouTube football channel. And we talk Texas football after every postseason game. Obviously, things are popping off right now with Texas and the recruiting. So it's time to jump in here, get your comments down. We can answer questions, have a great conversation. But Texas has been on a roll since June 23rd, obviously, with the commitment of Arch Manning, the number one prospect in the class of 2023, the number one quarterback recruit in the class of 2023. And not only on that, he is a perfect recruit according to 247 Sports, one of only three in the history of the system at quarterback. And Texas has had the opportunity to get all three, at least for sure one to this point, and two with Quinn Ewers being here and hopefully starting this season for my Texas Longhorns. Next up is Arch Manning. And ever since then, things have really gotten popping. 626 since June 26th. We've had three guys on that day commit to the University of Texas football in the class of 2023. And recruiting has gone absolutely nuclear. And one of those being Liano Lafau. He is a linebacker out of Hawaii, the number one recruit in Hawaii, according to 247. Next up, we have Connor Stroh at the offensive tackle position, and then four-star wide receiver Jonah Wilson. Those are three guys all in one day. That'd be a heck of a week for most programs. Well, that was just the beginning. The next day, 627, June 27th, three-star Andre Kojo commits, four-star Jaden Chapman commits, and I had to write these down. There's so many of them, guys. Three-star offensive tackle Trevor Goolsby commits to Texas, flipping from TCU. Yesterday, we have Derek Williams, one of the best safeties in all of in all the country in high school, from the state of Louisiana, flips and commits to, or doesn't flip, but commits to Texas. Today, we had Billy Walton. There's talks that Malik Muhammad, who is Billy Walton's cousin, could commit. Some other guys that could possibly commit in the next couple weeks. Four-star wide receiver, highly touted four-star wide receiver, Jonte Cook, Cedric Baxter, running back, number one running back into class of 2023. Anthony Hill could commit. Another one, Malik Harrison Pilot, is a four-star athlete that could commit this week. So there's a lot of news flooding in. I could be missing commitments right now, to be honest with you guys, which is insane. There's a Caleb Downs, who was the number one safety prospect in the 2023 class, is reportedly very close with Arch Manning. And he looked like he was going to be locked into Texas A&M. He just scheduled a visit to Texas, most likely. He said this threw a wrench in his recruiting. So there's a good chance he visits here, and there's a good chance he commits. All of this is insane, guys. I mean, I haven't seen anything like this, and I'm not surprised because I believe Joel Klatt said this. In my opinion, the best college football expert we have on TV. I think Mark is just as good. He's just not on TV. And he basically said what I was thinking, like, this isn't just a stamp of approval from Arch Manning. This is a stamp of approval from the Manning family. And when you have that backing you, that's a lot. That means a lot. They're trusting Steve Sarkisian with a guy that should be in the NFL and should be just like his uncles. I mean, Archie Manning was a number 2 pick in the NFL draft. Peyton Manning was a number 1 pick, and Eli Manning was also a number 1 pick. So Arch Manning has a lot. He has pretty big shoes to fill, and I think they realize that Steve Sarkisian is the guy for this job. And people are saying, well, they don't win. Let's be honest here, guys. Someone as Arch Manning's skill level and talent, the cloth that he was cut from, winning isn't the biggest priority. It is a priority. Don't get me wrong. It's up there. But number one is being developed and getting to the NFL. And Steve Sarkisian, out of his 3 finalists, Alabama, Georgia, and Texas, there's an argument to be made between those 3 that he was the best guy to go for that job. Look at his track record. He's got Carson Palmer, first-round pick, Jake Locker, first-round pick. For God's sakes, Matt Castle was a backup and got drafted and had a decent career in the NFL as a backup quarterback and starter for one season with the New England Patriots. The year after they went undefeated, Tom Brady got hurt. He stepped in. They went 10-6. They missed the playoffs. But most years, 10-6 gets you there. There's countless other guys, Matt Barkley, guys like that. He's also coached in the NFL. So there's a long list of pedigree to be shown there. And I think what we see from Quinn Ewers this year, I don't think Arch Manning flips either way, but what we see from Quinn Ewers this year will just be another feather in Steve Sarkisian's cap. Let's get to these comments real quick. One scoop, John Manning will redshirt year one, so yours will start, then go to the NFL. That is 100% the plan going forward. And everyone, there's all these pundits, and no offense, there's some guys that cover college football that either were good at it at some point and then just lean back on their laurels or rest on their laurels and decided, you know what, I'm not going to cover it as hardly anymore. Or they cover like 5 or 6 programs, Texas not being one of them anymore because we've fallen off, obviously, in the last 12 years. Because Stewart, I believe Mandel, and some other guys have been saying, yo, Arch Manning or Quinn Ewers is going to transfer. And first off, my answer to that is, okay, if one of them transfers, that means one's excelling so much that the other one can't even see the field, which I'm 100% fine with. Or that plan right there, one scoop, John, which I believe is going to happen. I think Quinn Ewers will have a decent year this year. I don't think great. I think he'll be just getting his feet wet. He'll have a solid year, get better towards the end of the year, and then he'll jump up next year and show enough skill, and also he'll also have enough playing time to be able to jump to the NFL, and then Arch Manning comes in. That'd be the perfect scenario. Now, what if Arch Manning got beat out or something like that by Malik Murphy? I expect either Hudson Carter or Malik Murphy to transfer. I don't know. I don't think both of them will transfer. I think one of them stays. But, I mean, I don't care, to be honest with you, who the quarterback for the Texas Longhorns is. I just want that quarterback to be good. And you have a better chance of that quarterback being good if you bring in as many talented guys as you can and develop them and have them compete against each other. That should be the goal of any college football program and coach. I mean, you see that with Alabama. They bring in 4 and 5 star guys at every position, 2 to 3 of them most of the time, and they compete. The best guy gets the job. That's how it should go. I don't really care who the starting quarterback is as long as he's good. Yeah, I know. And this thing, like, we lost Kansas. We've lost Kansas twice in last, 7 years. So we get it. Well, and us Texas fans have been humbled this past 12 years. We really have. Like, there's excitement going into the program, but there's excitement and also, when is this going to fall apart? That's the type of feeling. We have that feeling. It's going to be there until it's proven on the field. And when I mean proven, I mean winning a Big 12 championship, something we haven't done in the past decade plus. So it's something that needs to be shown on the field, obviously. And people say, well, you've always recruited well. This is true, but we have not recruited well at the key positions. This year, guys, or the last year and a half, Kyle Flood has recruited 10, I repeat, 10 offensive linemen. Tom Herman in 4 years recruited 14, got 14 on the program or on the team. We're finally recruiting the trenches. We're finally winning these. The defensive side is not there yet. The offensive line is going to be good. I'm pretty confident in saying that. I am not confident about the defense yet. I need to see more, see how they grow with Gary Patterson at the helm and under Pete Kwiatkowski in the second year. But we still need talent on that side of the ball. It literally just popped up 10 minutes ago on Twitter right before I hopped on here. D-Rock Irish, he said he had to reevaluate and think about it, and he was planning or thinking about scheduling a visit to Austin since I think him and Arch are pretty close. I didn't have a chance to read the article because I literally just hopped on here. Like, this stuff is coming so fast, guys. Like I said, something's going to happen while I'm on here. I'm pretty confident in saying that. There's so many guys that are on the hook. Like I said, Billy Walton flipped today from Oklahoma State, edge defender, high 3-star, low 4-star, depends where you look. And he's cousins with Malik Muhammad, who's also a 4-star cornerback prospect, very good player. So he could commit at any time today. Jaden Hale was just crystal balled at a 50% clip. I forget who crystal balled again. I read that right before I came on here. So this stuff is happening super fast. To be honest, I didn't expect it happening this fast. I was expecting 1 to 2 commitments a week for the next month or two. This is insane. You're having 10 guys right after. Yeah, no problem. That's why I'm here. I mean, as soon as I jump off here, I'm going to look at that because I'm interested. I mean, we already got one. I'm going to say he's a high 4-star, Derek Williams, but he's a composite 5-star. It doesn't really make sense. He's such a high 4-star in every place that 247 has him as a 5-star, which is kind of confusing. To me, he's a high 4-star. I think if he plays well, he will be obviously a 5-star. One scoop, John Tomlin is way better at game planning, offensive wizardry than recruiting. No denying that he was a big part of Ohio State winning the title with. I agree with you. He's a very good recruit. I actually agree with you. He is. I don't know. I actually disagree with that. I think he's a very good recruiter. If you look back at his time as Ohio State, and he's a good evaluator of talent. Look at Joe Burrow. He fought for Joe Burrow, guys. Urban Meyer did not want Joe Burrow. He's like, we got enough, but he pounded the table, convinced, and got him there. He's actually a very good recruiter if you look at his track record. His issue is development. And that's been the issue with the past couple guys. Charlie Strong is a great defensive coordinator. He has the track record to prove that. The problem is he could not develop when he got there, and he got certain parts of the country on his side. He never got the Texas high school football coaches behind him. Tom Herman kind of lost the Texas high school coaches at the end because he's arrogant, but he's also just not a good game planner. If you go back and watch, he had a good game plan going into games. He could not adjust whatsoever. Sark, to be honest with you, it has some of those same things, but his offense is just way more fun to watch, and there's a lot more thrown at you. He just doesn't have the current players, in my opinion, to run the sort of offense he wants to at full capacity. Thank you. No, I'm not. I know who you are, Maker. 100% developing is the issue. One scoop, John. That's been the issue at Texas for the past 12 years. If you go back and look, Texas had, I believe, one offensive lineman drafted in the past decade. That's not acceptable. Actually, so take that. They've had two. They've had Connor Williams and the name escapes, Samuel Cosme. He just got drafted a couple years ago. Good player. But that is the biggest issue, is development. If you look at our classes, we're getting in that and getting guys in the trenches specifically. And the thing is, if you're going to be very picky like Tom Herman was and target specific guys and you get them to the program, you're going to have to be better at developing those guys when they get there. Texas seems to be offering more people now, which is good. That's what they needed to do. Texas isn't back. Stop being so delusional. Texas needs to do something in the next few years, of course. I never said we're back. That's another thing too. Texas fans have never said we're back. It's been the media, and Sam Ehlinger, even he admitted, made a stupid comment on stage after the Georgia game. We're not back. We're not back until we win a Big 12 championship or competing for Big 12 championships consistently. Like if we went 3 times in a row to Big 12 championship, I would say we're back. Until then, we're not back. Why no draft picks? I mean, that's easy. No development. And that's going to change this year. I mean, Bijan Robinson's going to get drafted. And probably in the first round. I mean, scouts are raving about him. If he wasn't a running back, he'd be a top 5 pick. That's how good he is. He's put on most big boards in the top 7 range. He'll probably be drafted between 15 and 22 is my guess, just because he's a running back. DeMarvion Overshone will get drafted. If he has a great season, I could see 2nd round, late 1st. If he has a season like he did last year, 3rd or 4th round pick. There's a couple of interior guys as well that I think will get drafted, but more of 6th, 7th range, round range, and like Keandre Coburn and Devondre Sweat. But we'll see. Okay, either this guy's a troll or he's a delusional Texas fan. We do have him. Every fan base has him, no doubt about it. But we're not back. We're not. Mark looks different somehow. Yeah, I'm not Mark. I am Matthew Miller, and this is the 40 Acres postgame or 40 Acre show. I'm so used to saying postgame show. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. Also, go over to the Texas channel and subscribe there. We're trying to grow this big brand, and all your subscriptions to every channel help out Mark a lot. He's trying to become the biggest college football YouTuber that there is. And not even that, he wants to be the biggest voice of college football. So please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Go over to his channels list and subscribe to all those channels. Even if you don't watch videos, a subscription helps. If you don't want to watch, and even more than that, if you want to go hit a video and like it, that helps too. So please do that. Would you like Quinn Ewers to start? Are there other QBs in contention? Yes, there's other QBs in contention. Obviously, Hudson Card has a chance. Hudson Card has all the talent in the world. He was, I believe, the 4th best quarterback in that 2020 class, the number 1 rated, I believe. I believe they had him as mobile quarterback and not pocket passer. So he's got the talent. We've seen it. We've seen the arm strength. When he throws the ball, it's beautiful. But there's some guys in live bullet situations, they're just not that good. And we're going to see that. He did progressively get a little bit better. But Casey Thompson was so much better last year. When Casey Thompson was healthy, this offense ran very well. You'll see right after the Oklahoma game when he hurt his thumb, the offense fell down dramatically. That's when we had our issues. I still don't think we would have been much better. We were 5-7. I'm guessing Casey's healthy. We're 7-5 at best. So I think he's going to help Nebraska. I really do believe that because Nebraska was in a lot of close games and Taylor Martinez was terrible. So I think he'll help. 100% agree with that. That's the one thing college football, obviously, I think NIL will help this eventually, is parity. If you have money, you lay it on Ohio State or Alabama and win the national title. One of those two teams is going to win the national title. Unless a catastrophic injury happens, At and even then, I think Jalen Milroe at Alabama is good enough to lead them to a national title with the talent they have around them. Same, I don't even know who Ohio State's backup is. I'm going to be completely honest. Even though I do live in Ohio, CJ Stroud is the starter. I'm not 100% sure who the backup is at this point because they've had a lot of transfers out from the backup position because their start has been locked in with him and then prior Dwayne Haskins for a while. Mayhem Matthew, bad take. Sark will be fired before they get into the SEC. That's a possibility, but I doubt it. I think Arch Manning extends Sark. So I think Sark was going to be the head coach for the next 2 years regardless. I think Arch Manning buys him an extra year. So I think he's the head coach for the next 3 years, which puts you year one in the SEC if we leave in 2000 or if we do leave in 2024. I don't believe 2025. I believe 2025 will be the first season for sure, 100% in the SEC. I could see 2024 as well. Terrence West, I just believe Georgia lost way too much defensively. That was an all-time generational type defense in college football, and they lost way too much. And young guys on defense don't assimilate as well as young guys on offense. Malik Murphy. Malik Murphy has all the talent in the world. You guys want to go watch some crazy just like drills and tape? Go watch him. He can throw the ball like 79 yards as a junior in high school. He probably throw it 85 now. He's insane. I just don't know how he develops. If he develops to his fullest potential, I actually think he may be the most talented guy in the room between Arch Manning, Quinn Ewers, and himself. The problem is, will he get there? That is Sark's job to get him there, and I think Sark can do a capable job of doing that. But it can also be attitude-wise. You know, I would understand if Malik Murphy's angry and it's like, I was promised this, that, and the other, or I'm hoping Sark just told him, hey, come in and compete and learn from me, because I really just don't see him starting. It'd be really, I don't know if Steve Sarkisian has the cojones to where Malik Murphy reaches his full potential and is better than Arch Manning, but Arch Manning's there to say, hey, Arch, buddy, he's better than you. We got to play him, and then Arch transfers. I don't know, man. It wouldn't shock me because I think Steve Sarkisian has a lot of life experience, and that's one thing I really like about him compared to Tom Herman. He's humble. He's been humbled by life, whereas Tom Herman was arrogant, man, and he would never change. It was always bash his head in the wall, do the same thing. So I think Steve Sarkisian would do that, but I don't know because that's a very hard decision to make. Not many coaches would do that. I think before the Jags fired Urban to Texas was a possibility, probably not now. Like Matthew said, Sark probably earned another year. 100%. I actually do believe Urban Meyer was headed to Texas. I fully believe that. I mean, there was way too much smoke around that. There was even talk of him getting a staff together. I fully believe he leveraged the Texas position into an NFL job, though. I do believe he would have went to Texas, but he wanted an NFL job more. And once reached out to by the Jags, he was like, yeah, I'm just going to leverage this position. I think we dodged a bullet, quite frankly. I don't really like Urban Meyer. He's basically Tom Herman with obviously winning pedigree. But if we can win with a Steve Sarkisian, I'll take that with win over long term with Steve Sarkisian. I'll take that over winning now for Urban Meyer because Urban Meyer does win, but he's not a very good human being. I'd rather stay around away from that. Sark is the must champions of offensive side of the ball, but really good offensive coordinator, terrible head coach. That's a very good possibility. I will defend him on this, though. Look at Washington before he got there. They were 0-12. They went 6-6 the year after. That's pretty good turnaround. I know it's not a great record, but it's a 6-game turnaround. Also, this Texas program has been a dumpster fire. So I do need to see improvement this year. Don't get me wrong. I need to see 8-4. If he gets me to 8-4, I'm fully bought into him as a head coach because that's be a 3-game turnaround. And I fully believe this isn't the year to compete for Big 12 championship. That's next year when you have Quinn Ewers in his second year, Xavier Worthy in his final year. The only person you'd be missing is Bijan Robinson, and everyone says that's a big loss. Go take a look at our running back room. That room has Jaden Blue. I think it's going to have Cedric Baxter. It also has Terrence Brooks. And I said this on a Texas video not that long ago, and I still believe it. I believe it was a spring game after video on the Texas channel. I said Terrence Brooks will have a better career at Texas than Bijan Robinson, in part because I think he's supremely talented, but for the most part, it's because he's going to be behind a better offensive line. The recruiting class that we just had this year for the offensive line is arguably one of the best in the history of high school football recruiting. So that's my opinion on that. I think Tucker likes the challenge of turning MSU into a contender. I would agree that there's some guys that really do like that thrive on that. They like climbing up a hill. I mean, There are also some guys that just like to climb the ladder. And the amount of money that man got, it was going to be hard to turn down no matter who offered it to him. I mean, $95 million, no offense, and after a good year, but not a great year. It was a great year for Michigan State, Sanders, but overall just a good year. I don't know if he's a great coach. Great coaches obviously string together decades worth of success at least. So far, we've seen 1.5 good years from Mel Tucker, so we'll have to see. Golden Bluted, Lane Kiffin, and I like your channel, by the way. Lane Kiffin will be in Texas within 3 years. That's a possibility, and I wouldn't mind it. He was on my short list of guys when we were considering. Steve Sarkisian didn't come to mind, but then when you hear him speak, you see the concepts that he designs and the offense that he had at Alabama. Yeah, you'll say these are talented. And of course, Alabama was going to have a great offense. Steve Sarkisian put a record-setting offense together with that talent. Go look at the previous guys. Go look at the guy after him in Bill O'Brien, who's a god-awful offense coordinator, by the way. That's maybe a little bit too harsh. We'll go average offensive coordinator. He put up historic numbers with that talent, so that's why I like him so much. And I think there's a really good chance that he can do this here. He's got the talent now, wide receiver wise, running back wise, and quarterback wise. He needs the offensive line. And that's why I say I don't think the offensive line is going to be great this year. I think it needs to be at least average for us to have a chance at winning the Big 12 championship. And I don't even know if it's going to be that. So that's why I say we're not competing for a Big 12 championship until next year. The latest on the Anthony Hill, there's really not much other than a couple guys did put in a crystal ball on 3. For him, I don't know what the percentage chance it was that he would go to Texas. I do believe it's down to A&M in Texas. And I mean, if he wants to come to Texas, he's going to have playing time instantly. This guy's a highly rated 5-star player. I believe he's the number 1 player in the state of Texas. So again, playing time, if you want that, you go there. If I'm a guy on the defensive side of the ball, I need to see at least some progress though. If I don't see progress, I probably wouldn't go there. That'd be like Uncle Lou. Obviously, you guys know him. He brings up the same thing on his YouTube channel. Why would you come to Georgia if you're a quarterback to get developed? When's the last quarterback that's been developed at Georgia? Why would you come to Texas to play defense? There's not been a great defensive player that's come out of Texas in a pretty long time. Not a very long time, but a pretty long time. They've turned into good players in the NFL, but they were not great at Texas. They were developed in the NFL. Case in point, Kane Stearns for my Denver Broncos, 5th-round pick. He's balling right now, and he's balling because he's been developed in the NFL under Vic Fangio, one of the best minds defensively in football. Brandon Jones with the Dolphins, same thing. You see these guys play great in their freshman season and then never get any better, and then when they get to the NFL, they get better. Texas needs to have those guys consistently get better at their program, then get in the NFL and consistently get better. That's the goal of this. See, I actually disagree with that, Mayhem Matthew. I think it's going to be opposite. I think we're going to struggle early, but I think it's going to be more like Texas A&M because that's the one thing that A&M has always had over Texas when they joined the SEC, and why you see some of these recruits go to A&M instead of Texas. If it was 50-50, like a toss-up recruit is like, well, they're in the SEC, so I'm going there. They get more money, most likely. They also get developed at Texas A&M, and then as well as you get to play in the SEC with the best. So I guess I was the only one who thought this was going to be Mark's show. I mean, if you want to leave, that's fine. I'm not Mark, but, I'm trying to be, I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to be myself, but this is Mark's channel. Please subscribe down below. Please like the video, Uncle Rico. Go over to the other channels, like their videos, subscribe is there. We're trying to build this whole brand, so please help out. Would you rather play A&M or Arkansas when you get to SEC? That's a great question. After experiencing Arkansas's atmosphere last year and the absolute ass kicking they did to us, I don't know if I want to go back there for a while, but I know A&M is just as crazy. I would like to renew they're both rivalries. A&M, to me, I never got to see the Arkansas rivalry. That's more of a 70s, 60s, even early 80s type thing. That's not what I grew up on. I grew up on the Texas A&M rivalry, and I barely grew up on that. So I would like to do that. Obviously, got to keep the Oklahoma rivalry. I think that's the top 3 rivalry in all of college football, so you got to keep that. I fully expect pods which I don't know if I'm a fan of, but the pods that have been thrown out there are A&M, Arkansas, Texas, and Oklahoma. I would gladly take that pod because none of those teams scare me. LSU at full strength scares me. Alabama at full strength scares me. Georgia at full strength scares me. Florida no longer scares me because they're kind of like us at this point. So those three teams scare me. If we can avoid them as much as possible, I'm cool with it. If you disliked it, that's fine too. I don't know what I did wrong, but that wasn't an insult. Okay, well, Mark's great at what he does. I'm trying to become like Mark, great at what you do, but I'm not there yet. I got a lot to learn. What's going on? Hopefully, if you are a Longhorn fan, you're subscribed to the Texas Football Channel. If you're not, subscribe. Scott, thank you very much for the super chat with not even a question. If you're gonna have a super chat, you got to send a question, man. I'm here to answer your questions. That's a great question, Cameron 2K. What do you think a successful season this year? 8-4. That's a successful season this year. 8-4, and I see progress from Quinn Ewers throughout the year. Those are two things that I want and need to happen. If I see those two things, I am perfectly content because, like I said, this is not the year, guys. This is where the cake is being made. It is not going to be baked at the end of this year. The baking should be done next year. That should be the step taken to where we're in the Big 12 championship. I know Oklahoma's down this year. The Big 12 in general is down this year, and I think it's going to be better next year. But the thing is, we should be much better. Quinn Ewers will be in a second year starting, in my opinion, and most likely. We'll still have Xavier Worthy. We'll still have some other wide receiver weapons, including these guys that we're getting in now, like a Ryan Niblett, a Brennan Thompson who just got to school, and then obviously, hopefully, a Jonte Cook and people like that. We'll also have that offensive line, Kelvin Banks, Cam Williams, all those big boys from this great offensive line class come in, be prepared, and start. I expect probably one of them to start this year. I wouldn't be surprised if Devin Campbell, the 5-star, the best offensive lineman in the country, starts this year. So all those guys should be ready, or most of them. And that's when you'll have a at least good to great offensive line with Quinn Ewers back there, Xavier Worthy catching the ball. If you can have an average defense, that should be enough to get you a Big 12 championship, in my opinion. Not this year, next year. That is a really good question. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't watch a lot of tape on recruits until I'm asked. I haven't had a chance to watch much tape. Just based on what the little that I have watched, I really do like I like Jonte Cook. I like wide receivers. I like guys like that. It's really, I'm going to be honest, it's hard to watch offensive line tape because you don't really know what you're watching for the most part in these drills one-on-one and stuff like that. You actually have to watch them in games, and then you only watch them in certain games because, guys, if you're a 5 or 4-star offensive lineman, 90% of the games you're going up against guys that aren't that good and you're just going to dominate. And that doesn't tell me anything what you're capable of in high school. You need traits is mostly what they look at when you're out looking at offensive lineman. And then the one game you go against someone that is also of your ilk or skill level, you have to at least be good against them. Or even if you're great, that's why you're a 5-star. Is there anything you like to have this channel? Something like a Texas fathead sticker in the background? Yeah, okay. So I'm not going to be at this apartment much longer. That's why we don't have stuff back here, and that's why I don't have my light on. Just a plain, white wall. I actually have 3 really cool posters of like 1940s and the first ever game played at Texas posters, but I'm not going to hang them here because I leave this apartment in August. When I get back to my other place and I have a place that I'm going to be at for a while, I will hang them back here and you'll see them. They're very cool. 2 of them are taken right out of programs. They're really cool versus Cal. One of them is. The other one, like I said, is I believe 1896, the first year of Texas football, and it's a poster. And then there's another one too. They're really cool. 100% homegrown Cowboy. This is 100% true. If Quinn Ewers doesn't even have to be great. If he's a good college football quarterback this year, this offense is going to be a top 10 offense. You have Jordan Whittington, Xavier Worthy, Isaiah Nair, Bijan Robinson, Roshan Johnson, Terrence Brooks, Tavian Sanders, Jaleel Billingsley. The list goes on. This is a very good, and if these guys would have gotten Jordan Addison, this offense would have been, I would have bet money that they'd be a top 5 offense. I still think they have the capability of being that, but I for sure think they're top 10, and they could be the best. We'll see. I think Ohio State or Alabama is most likely going to be the best offense. Yeah, once Manning committed to Texas, we all knew Jonte was going. That's a tough duo as is. 100%. And I believe Jonte Cook will commit to Texas this week. I don't know when. I think he does. He's one of those guys that does like the Shine, let's be honest here. All those videos poking fun at Texas, then A&M, and then showing up to Alabama. Was like, oh, you got real trophies? He's 100% a clown. He likes to be the center of attention. So he's waiting for the Arch Manning hype to die down, and then he'll make his commitment. Jimbo is ready. Will be ready for Arch. I'm not scared of Jimbo Fisher as a coach. Go look at his track record. He's missed multiple recruitments since Jameis Winston. He's kind of like what happened to Mac Brown at Texas. He had all this great track record, and then all of a sudden it fell off a cliff, and he's kind of doing the same thing. I'm not impressed at A&M until they win 10 games. With the amount of talent they have in the trenches, like we have talent, and I said that. We have wide receivers, all that stuff. That stuff doesn't win you national championships or multiple 10-win seasons in a row. The trenches do. And Jimbo Fisher's got the talent now. I want to see what he does with it. Okay, that's pretty funny. Manning could do the 100%. I do believe Arch Manning is a high 4-star recruit, but because of the name, goes to 5. But that does matter, guys. Genes do matter. He's going to have 2 guys that have won Super Bowls to be able to call him, hey, like, hey, should I do this? Hey, should I do this? That's a lot, guys. That's worth a lot. If you could take someone who's average at something and give them 2 of the greatest mentors, and they're going to be better than average after they talk to them and learn from them. And he has that in his family. So that is 100% why he's the 5th string or 5th star. 100%. Texas A&M, this is their year. I don't want to hear anything else. If you don't win, I'm not saying win the national championship, but you have to come in second place at worst. If you finish second behind Alabama, there's no shame in that, but you have to do that. With the amount of talent they have, A&M peaked in the COVID year. How much weight can we put in that? Not a lot. Again, I need to see them finish second behind Bama this year. They have to do that. They have to win 10 games. And we'll see. I don't even know who their quarterback is going to be. And can Jimbo Fisher develop a quarterback? After Jameis Winston, by the way, Jameis Winston came in his freshman year, was fantastic. Probably the best college freshman season I've ever seen from a college quarterback. And then he was very average, and he's been terrible ever since. So, not terrible. Very average at best ever since. So we'll see. We'll see what Jimbo Fisher does. Arkansas will finish second. That's very possible. They did very well this offseason. They got a lot of transfers. Drew Sanders, who I wanted at Texas. So that's very possible. I don't see that. I don't think Arch Manning sits 2 years. I just don't see that. 100%. You can't just have an offense. Look at OSU last year. I do agree with that, but you can still win a lot of games with an offense. Example, Baker Mayfield's Oklahoma team when they got to the college football playoff. You can do that. You cannot win a national championship that way. You can win 10 to 12 games that way, but you will not win a national championship. That is 100% correct. It's yet to be done. I think the worst defense to ever win a national championship, because Tom Herman always said this, was Cam Newton's Auburn team in the BCS era until now. So that's the worst it can be. I think and they were like 30th, and that was with the best college football quarterback I've ever seen, or top 3 debatable between him, Tebow, and Vince Young, in my opinion. So, and Joe Burrow as well. So top 4, but Joe Burrow's more. I'll give Joe Burrow top 4. Yes, he made him be higher, but it was one of the best I've ever seen. He was definitely the best dual threat quarterback I've ever seen. Thoughts on West Virginia this year? They have a good chance to be a dark horse candidate for the Big 12. The Big 12 is wide open with Lincoln Riley leaving. I think it will be interesting. JT Daniels, I've always liked. I don't love him, but he's definitely the best quarterback they've had for a while. They return a couple good players on both sides of the ball. I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch them, engage them. I liked the Neil Brown hire at the time. I'm starting to doubt it. We'll see. 100%. Vince Young was also, Texas says, the only 3 quarterbacks to ever be a perfect prospect if Arch Manning stays committed, which I fully expect him to. And we haven't done, and they haven't had a shot yet. We're hoping these guys can replicate what Vince Young did. That would be fun. I at least want them to come to Austin. I think it'd be awesome. Their environment was awesome. That was their Super Bowl last year. I mean, they were packed out. I think it's going to be, I think Alabama goes there this year. I think that's going to be just as big and just as fun because I think Arkansas is going to be better than they were last year, and everyone was hating on them. That was a good football team last year. Texas has had three perfect QBs. Vince Young really didn't pop off until his late sophomore season, and then junior year obviously went nuclear. Should have won the Heisman, but it is what it is. 100%. That's true. I mean, that's the thing. This isn't just a stamp of approval from Arch. His family had to sign off on this. This is a stamp of approval from the Mannings, the first family of football. These are the Kennedys to politics. So, Kennedys of football, I should say. So this is a spectacular. This is bigger than Arch, is what I'm saying. You're not just getting Arch. You're getting probably 5 to 6 guys that wouldn't have gone to Texas because of Arch. It's really big. It really is. Can't be understated. A combination of immaturity and Jeff Fisher, and he even admitted he would not have come out if the Houston Texans, if he didn't think the Houston Texans were not going to take him number one. That was the biggest thing. And that team, guys, go look at that roster. Vince Young's on that team the next year. That team the next year is better than that '05 team. You have another year of Jamal Charles. The defense gets better. Basically, every position got better other than Colt McCoy, his first year behind the reins, and he was just not ready. And that team still won 10 games. And Colt McCoy did not play very well. I will not have. I will. I try to have a show weekly on the Texas Football Channel. I'm going to start doing that, and then I have a post game show after every game I'm here. I was taking it hard last year, guys, with all the losses, 6 losses in a row. That was not fun, but I was here. I took my medicine. There was a lot of shit comments in there, and that's 100% fine. I can take them. And it was fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna enjoy it this year. Hopefully, they're better this year. I fully expect them to be. I don't think 5-7's in the cards at all, but you never know. I actually wasn't as high as most people. I thought this team at the worst could be 6-6, so I was pretty close. I thought they'd be between 6-6 and 9-3, and they were the worst they could possibly be last year, which is even worse than 6-6, 5-7. I would have to look at West Virginia's schedule to know that, Troy. I fully expect them to probably, I mean, just based off how weak the Big 12 is, and if their out of conference schedule isn't too difficult, probably realistically, same as Texas, 8-4, 9-3. I don't know who's going to win the Big 12. I have no clue this year. It's going to be interesting. It was fun for you. It was not fun for me. It actually hurt me to watch Texas. It just hurt because they were in every game. Like they were leading at halftime of basically every game and they would blow it. I mean, I can take losing. I can't take losing like that. I'd rather the Arkansas game where Arkansas was leading at halftime, but it was close. And then we got blown out. I'd way rather just get blown out from the beginning and know it's over, which may happen week 2 versus Alabama. I actually don't expect it to. If they can just do an average job on Will Anderson, I think there's some things that he can exploit in that Saban defense, but we'll have to see. I don't know if you can contain Will Anderson because he's the best player in college football. Yeah, I mean, we've always been able to pull recruits. People don't get it. It's a very good school on top of it's the biggest school in the biggest state for high school football. That's what they pitched everyone. Then also now the money definitely helps. So all these factors play in. I really do believe NIL is what's going to help us get back to being back. For the simple fact is we're getting guys where we can place the money where needs are now. So if you need offensive linemen, you just push all your money in offensive line, which we're kind of doing because that's what we need. We really need that. We've always been able to get skilled players, decent quarterbacks, for example, even running backs, obviously, but we haven't been able to develop and get good players in the trenches for the most part. Yeah, they play Pitt. That'll be very fun. They hate each other. Highlighted by Bo Davis. Yeah, that bus rant is awesome. It's funny because whoever released that was definitely looking for sympathy on the Texas team. They got none because that's how every fan felt, and that's how they should feel. Like you're playing college football at the University of Texas, and they're going to treat you like that when you act childish and take videos and not care. Guess what? You're going to get called out like a coach should do. A coach should hold you responsible, and he did that. And there's nothing more we can ask for. And we finally got that in this program. For the longest time, I didn't think Charlie Strong did hold players accountable. And then there was a change of culture where Tom Herman didn't really hold people accountable, especially if you were talented. He really didn't hold you accountable. And now we've got a nice blend. But the thing is, he wasn't close with his team. Now we've got a nice blend of holding you accountable. It's more like a father figure in your team with Steve Sarkisian. He's not going to pass you in the hallway and not say hi, stuff like that. Like if you weren't a good player under Tom Herman, he treated you like, guess what? You're not worth my time, which is a really shitty thing to do because you recruited them and they are worth your time. How many kids does Philip Rivers have? I think he's got 11. I think he might even have one more on the way. Maybe he does have 9. Roger Dodger said 9. I don't know. He had one more on the way, adding to what he already had. I know that. Great. I love Philip Rivers, by the way, and I'm a Broncos fan, but I like the guy a lot. And beating the GOAT. Yeah, thanks to Mama Manning, we don't have to put up with Tom Brady having 12 rings. Eli Manning has 3 kids. They are all daughters, I believe, unless he just had a 4th son. That's a possibility, but I believe they're all daughters and he has 3. Peyton Manning has 2, 1 daughter, 1 son. Might be. Hey, I gotta have some faith. I think the spread was set at 16.5. I think that's fair. I really do. I think it's gonna stay within 17. I fully believe that. People don't realize how hot it gets in Austin. And look, one of the 3 best college football teams of all time, LSU, came in and only beat us by 7. And we were a 3rd and 17 from getting the ball away, tying that game and going into overtime. And heat will play a factor. Texas heat, I mean, it's going to be 100 plus degrees on the field, guys. So that will play a factor, especially if we can keep the ball and keep the defense of Alabama out on the field. John Elway or Peyton Manning? Great question to ask me. I'm actually a Broncos fan. I obviously too young to watch John Elway. I think pure talent, John Elway. But if I need a quarterback for a whole season and not just like talent competition, I'm taking Peyton Manning. Do they really have who was the decommit? And yeah, it's a weird situation. Oh, I agree. I think Joe Montana. I think, in my opinion, if we're going to talk NFL quarterbacks, I'm taking either Joe Montana, Tom Brady, and then Peyton Manning. I think those are the top 3 guys, in my opinion. I would love to have any of those daughters playing QB. Yeah, they don't really have a quarterback. They're always a team where if they got a quarterback, would they be any better? I ask that because do they actually have an offensive system or would they just hand the ball off 35 times a game and run that little stupid bootleg tight end play? Like, or would they actually develop an offense with a good quarterback? That's a really good question. Aaron Rodgers. No, okay. No, we've gone too far now. Aaron Rodgers is a diva. I don't even want to talk about that man. I think that's a possibility, but we don't need to. Again, this offensive or this running back room is really good, and Roschon Johnson's going to be an NFL player too. I fully expect him to get drafted in the 4th or 5th round. So I think there's Terrence Brooks really good. I don't think Jaden Blue, who's a high 4-star recruit and didn't play his last year of high school football, is going to play much this year. But I fully expect I think Bijan will get 70 to 75% of the carries, and then Roschon will probably get 20%, and then Terrence Brooks will probably get another 5, maybe 10% max. But yeah, I fully expect Bijan to get a lot of carries. Hopefully more passing because the guy is dynamic, catching the ball out of the backfield. When you throw him in the slot versus a linebacker, he's unguardable, and we didn't do that enough last year, so I'm hoping for more of that. I'm guessing you're talking the playoff. I personally like 10. I like 10 with 2 buys and then 3 plays 8, 4 plays 7, 5 plays 6. That's what I like. I think that fits perfectly. I think you have your 5 conferences. Winners get in from each one. I think you pick one group of 5 team, the best one. That's 6, and you pick 4 other spots. I think it should be that easy. Texas should always have top running backs, in my opinion. Oh, I agree. And they have. They've had fantastic running backs for a long time, to be honest. I mean, you go back to Earl Campbell, Cedric Benson, Priest Holmes, Ricky Williams, Deontay Foreman. Jonathan Gray never panned out. He was a good player, not a great player. So we've always had good running backs. Jamal Charles, that man does not get talked about enough. Do you think Oklahoma is definitely not a lock to win the Big 12. First off, Brett Venables is an offense or a defensive coach. They do not have the defensive talent to be great on defense. I think they can be average. The problem is you're taking, arguably, he's a top 3 mine in college football on the offensive side of the ball. I think it's between Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian, and his name escapes me, the head coach for USC now. Lincoln Riley. I don't know why it escaped me. For the top 3 minds in college football. I believe they're going to take a giant step back and become an average at best. And Dylan Gabriel doesn't scare me. Average at best offense. So I think if they're all around just an average football team, I think the culture will push them, probably eke out a win they probably shouldn't have, to be honest with you. So I think they win 10 games max. I think they're going to have at least 2 losses. Uh, 12 teams is fine too, but I like 10 personally. Would be good. I agree. I think Texas, USC, Miami, Nebraska, if they were all back, would be and you keep the guys that you have that are good now, would all be fantastic. And there's enough talent to go around now for that to happen, to where all these teams are good again, and that'd be really fun in my opinion. No. We can have this argument. That's a no. And you'll see in the NFL draft when Bijan goes higher than TreVeyon Henderson. I guarantee that, by the way. I guarantee you Bijan Robinson's somewhere between 15 and 22, and TreVeyon Henderson somewhere between 28. And they're not in the same class, 28 to 40. Bijan does things that TreVeyon just can't. His balance and his catching out of the backfield are better right now than TreVeyon Henderson. TreVeyon Henderson get better at that, but I would take Bijan. I actually think Mohamed Ibrahim, however you say his last name, might be the second best college, or might even be the best running back in college. Well, that guy's a beast. He does need to get better with his hands out of the backfield catching wise, but they don't really do that. So I don't know how good he actually is at that, but he was a beast before he got hurt. Texas 8-4. I agree. I think we're 8-4 team. 9-3 I would take. 8-4 to me is the bottom. 10-2 is the max. I don't see anything better than that. In no world can I see more than 10-2. Bijan's top end speed isn't great, but his acceleration is insane. And that's what's important. You don't need great top end speed as a running back. You need quick acceleration through the hole. 8. The only thing with 8 is I want to guarantee a spot for the group of 5. And I think they've earned that. I think Cincinnati proved that last year. They're not that far off. So, and at Cincinnati, talk about they're recruiting really well. They could be back here again in a couple of years in the college football playoff. So I like 10, but 8 to 12 is the number. Anything more than 12 is too much. Anything less than 8 is too little, in my opinion. No, I know, Uncle Rigo, that TreVeyon Henderson was a true freshman, but again, he's also playing behind a better offensive line, playing with a better quarterback. The whole situation was better. If Bijan Robinson was at Ohio State, could have went there, by the way, chose not to. Closer to Arizona, where his grandma lives, so she could watch him play once in a while. And I really do believe he'd average 2 to 3 yards more per carry. He would add more touchdowns. He's just a better football player. Look at his guys. The high school stats are insane. Go look at his stats on high school. This guy's his senior year was averaging 17 yards per carry, and there were games he was getting pulled out and halfway through the third quarter with 400 yards rushing. Yes, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Really helps out the channel. You're not helping me out. You're helping Mark out. Please hit the like button, subscribe, go over to the Texas channel, hit the like button, subscribe if you're on Mark. If you're on the Texas channel, hit the like button, subscribe, and go over to the other videos and like and subscribe. Oh, you guys are going to be way better. So I'm not saying that. Your team is way better now. So Ohio State's going to win 11 games like they do every year. I live in Ohio, so I have to deal with fans. Not fun. But I just like I go with my guy, you go with your guy. That's how it works. And we'll see. You're right. We will see. Just curious. The what's text low point to fire? If he goes, let's say they go 6-6 this year, and then next year with a fully operational team, in my opinion, which it's going to be, if they go like 7-5, they fire him. But then Arch Manning doesn't come, so I don't know. Arch Manning bought Steve Sarkisian next year 100%, so we'll have to see. Yeah, 100%. And I mean, he has, in my opinion, 2 wins out of the first 3 games. So he really has to win 4 games. That's why I think this team, if this team doesn't get to 8 wins, there's an issue. There really is. The schedule isn't very hard. I think there's 3 wins baked into the schedule. So I'm asking for 5 wins out of 9 to win 509 of those games, basically. Go Canes. Hey, they just paid $3 million for it wasn't 9. I know that was being reported, but I'm pretty sure Miami Hurricanes writers have come out and said they paid $3 million for a 4-star, which is a little bit high in my opinion. But Nico, Imalivia, I believe his last name is. I can't pronounce it very well. From Tennessee, he's getting paid $8 million, which I think is ridiculous for a guy that's never stepped on the field. He's getting paid more than a lot of backups in the NFL. But hey, rich guys will throw money at things. Mike, yeah, that is possible too. Ohio State will be passing a lot because they have the best wide receiver in core in college football. I'm not a big fan of CJ Stroud. I think he's good. I don't think he's great. But their wide receivers are amazing. I mean, their all around offense is going to be probably the best in college football. Jackson Smith and Jigma, which Tom Herman didn't recruit him at all, didn't give him an offer till the last week before he went to Ohio State. That would have been nice. Right in our state. I believe Round Rock, Texas, I believe. Or Rockwall. It's something rock. I know that. But it's ridiculous. Deshaun threw money at too many women. Yeah. All I have to say on that is when 24 people accuse you of something, probably some smoke there. Or probably some fire where that smoke is, I should say. Like I said, I think Oklahoma's a 10-win team max. I think they're in the same position as us. They're 8-4, 10-2. I think most of the Big 12 is that way. To be honest with you, they're just all around good, but no great teams with Big 12 this year. Yeah, it would be interesting to see what that looks like. My guess is show up to 1 or 2 events, and here's your however much money. Yep, Rockwall. And he's right there, and they didn't even offer him until later. Too late. And I don't know if he would have went there, but it's still like we've done that with so many guys over the years, and why we've stayed where we are because we don't offer these guys where we offer them too later. We tell them to play another position. In the case of Johnny Manziel and RG3, it's like, dude, don't even start on that. Stroud definitely got humbled when he scored a touchdown in the big house and it got taken back. I like he's a good player. He's just not who I think Ohio State fans think he is. I don't see him being great in the NFL. I just don't. It's been a long time since an Ohio State quarterback has been good in the NFL. I can't really think of one. And don't claim Joe Burrow. That's some BS if you're trying to claim Joe Burrow. There's been a lot of busts taken first overall. Point in case, Jamarcus Russell. It doesn't. I don't care where you're. Well, it matters where you're taking. I shouldn't say that, but I don't. He won't be the number 1 pick. Will Anderson or Bryce Young will be the number 1 pick. Bryce Young is better than C.J. Stroud, in my opinion. Do you think we'll get Hill? I do, but I think that recruitment is going to be drawn out a little bit more than these other ones. I think all these other guys that committed, and I fully expect Malik Muhammad to commit in the next couple days. I would expect Anthony Hill to get push down the road. I think he's going to take his time as he should, but I do believe it's A&M or us. Yeah, Johnny Manziel, we may not have taken at all. RG3, 100%. I believe we offered him and told him to go to safety, or that was Johnny Manziel. It's one of the two. One of the two was offered and told to play safety or walk on and play safety. It's like, what the hell were you doing? It was one of the two. D-Rock Irish, thank you. And hit that like button and subscribe down below. Helps out the channel. He's 100% worth the wait. He's at a key position. He can play multiple positions as well. He can either be an edge rusher, which we desperately need after. I mean, you saw, I think Joseph Osai added 1 to 2 wins the prior year for Tom Herman. I think Tom Herman would have been fired in the middle of the season if Joseph Osai was there. So he could be that type of player on defense if he's coming off the edge, or he could play middle linebacker. Oh, there's plenty more stories about that. There's stories about Andrew Luck. Guess where he grew up? In Texas. Did we offer him? No. Jameis Winston, supposedly, this one may not be true. I'd have to do more research on it. His favorite school was Texas. Did we offer him? No. There's so many guys that we just overlooked. And I think a lot of it is we treat recruitment, or we used to, of like we gave out as few as possible because we're so prestigious. It's like, oh, the University of Texas. And you're proud to receive one of our 150 letters this year to come play for the university, and we just didn't offer a lot of guys that we should have. I'm 100% saying RG3 or Johnny Manziel was asked to play safety. I forget which one. And then Andrew Luck grew up, obviously, in Texas, didn't offer him. A lot of those stupid stories. Making lots of bold statements. I'm a bold person. In every statement I say, I believe. I fully believe Bryce Young is a better football quarterback than CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud may have a better year, but we'll see. I fully expect Bryce Young to be the better quarterback going forward in college this year and in the NFL. Saying this, Georgia goes on the road and loses to South Carolina. I mean, they lost to South Carolina 2 years ago, I believe. Yeah, 2 years ago. So that's possible. What's the point spread? I believe it's 16.5 or was when it opened. I don't know what it is now. I'm going to be honest. I don't really care about point spread until about a week before the game. So I would know that the first week of September. I do not know that now. But when it opened, I believe it was like 14.5 to 16.5. I agree. I think he's the second best player in college football. I believe the two best players in college football play for Alabama. I believe if everything goes the way I believe it will, I believe Alabama's going to win it all. I think I would not, if Will Anderson stays healthy and they actually are willing to give it to a defensive player, he should get it. He's so good. Yeah, Walton, he has the prototypical body of a speed edge rusher, so it would be nice if we get him, but we'll see. Obviously, O'Shawn Mathis did hurt. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's great. I think he is an NFL player, though. I think he's a rotation guy in the NFL, so it would have been nice to have him, but Nebraska paid out the wazoo for him, and congrats to them. I want to see them do well, so it's like I can't really hate because I do want to see them get better, but obviously I like Texas way more than like Nebraska because I'm a Texas fan, so obviously I wish you would have went to Texas, but that's like one of the other places where, okay, you went there. There's certain places I don't mind going. Stanford being the number one. Anytime we lose a commitment to Stanford, like, dude, congratulations. Once you graduate from Stanford, you're set for life. So I kind of understand that. Yeah, I don't think Bryce Young's 6 foot either. I don't think he's 5'8", but he's probably like 5'10". Who's the best betting site to use? Unfortunately, I don't trust any companies that are offshore for this example only. Putting your money into an offshore betting company, and you may not get your money back. They don't have to pay you. There's no law. You can't sue them. You can't do anything. And the problem is gambling is not legal in Ohio, so I cannot gamble. So I do not look, but do not trust offsite betting companies or offshore betting companies. They can scam you out of money. There's nothing tying you to them to where they have to give you the money. So Barstool Sports, if it's open in your place, I would probably go with them because that's who I'd go with at this point if I could. I could do that for sure. I could do some research and put together a video about that. It would be very annoying to do because it pissed me off about the amount of recruitments. And there's going to be, this is probably a 50-50 issue. A lot of people don't believe this, but Nick Saban was going to come to Texas and Mac Brown resigned. All that stuff was happening behind the scenes. He legitimately, his wife was in Austin looking for houses and scouting. And Mac Brown said, screw you, I'm not resigning. And that ended quickly. And that was the only chance we had. I know before Charlie Strong was hired, we pursued him. That was fake. That was never going to happen then. But prior to that, I believe it was 2 years after the national championship, they had a chance at him. And that got ruined quickly because Mac Brown did not want to step down at the time. That is Doug Flutie, not Tom Flutie. When does Mark release his strength of schedule? That's a really good question. I don't know. Usually, I think he does it like a month before the season, so that should be coming up in the next month, or I should say after the next month it should be coming up because we're on what 66 days or something like that for college football to start. Yes, we did pursue Kyler. He turned it down. His dad's an A&M alum. He actually, that was the thing. He visited Texas, and it was supposed to be a secret. That was specifically told to Charlie Strong, "We'll visit, and you might even get a commitment, but you have to keep it a secret." It did not stay a secret for very long, and that was probably part of the reason he went to A&M. On part of his dad went there as well. Yeah, I believe we win 8. So we're off by a game, and that's possible. 8-4 to me is the bottom just because the talent that we have, the offensive line isn't going to be great, but the talent on offense, and I think with Gary Patterson, the defense becomes average, which average in college football is around the 60 to 80 mark. Um, I think there's a really good possibility we win 8. I think that's the marker I'm looking at. Again, we play Louisiana Monroe to start the season. We should win that game. We play Alabama. That's a loss. We play UTSA. We should win that game. Kansas on the schedule. People can clown us all we want. We're not losing to Kansas back-to-back years. That should be 3 wins right there. I mean, you have 9 games to get 5 more wins to get you to 8. I think that's reasonable. I don't think that's unreasonable. Yeah, Gary Patterson is one of the best ever at finding 3 stars and turning them into 4 or 5-star players. And offensive line, Kyle Flood has a type. He doesn't seem to care about stars. He cares about the body type. He likes really big guys. For example, Connor Stroh's like 6'6", 345-pound guys. I don't really care what his stars are. That's a giant human being. If you can just get his footwork down and his hand placement right, he's going to be an average player at worst. I did not know that. I thought you were talking about Doug Flutie. Does his brother play? Either I'm getting trolled right now because I did not know that Tom or Doug Flutie had a brother at all, which is crazy if he did. Doug Flutie was short. Hell of an athlete, though. One of the best athletes no one knows about. Another one, look this up, guys. Most of you probably don't know this. Look at Danny Woodhead in high school. That guy was a stud at every sport he played. Insane athlete. 5'8", 5'7", something like that. I think 5'7" and 5'9", averaged like 30 points per game in high school. Could dunk. He was really good. And that goes to show you guys, like, if you're that short and you play a sport, you have to be an insane athlete. Like Nate Robinson, insane athlete. They're just great athletes. It makes sense. Even if you weren't very fast, you can see people on the offense are going to move off with the other team. I tried to read that. Yeah, and Gooseby. Yeah, well, that's specifically TCU, so he could probably badmouth recruit TCU and know it well because he's from there. Walden, I'm not sure. I think a lot of these guys, to be honest, he's a 3-star, so a lot of 3-stars, to be honest, just jump and jump and jump and eventually land on their best opportunity. No offense to Oklahoma State, Texas is a better opportunity. And if like an Alabama or Georgia offered him, I wouldn't be shocked if he went there instead, because that's what you do when you're a 3-star. You just jump until you get there. The best running back in the history of the NFL is either Walter Payton, in my opinion, or Barry Sanders, for two different reasons. Barry Sanders, I was like trying to catch water, guys. Like you can't hold water in your hands. It gets through. That's how Barry Sanders was. Walter Payton, for a different reason. Walter Payton was one of the best teammates in the history of the NFL. You watch the '85 Bears series, how those guys spoke about him, and they spoke about him like a god. Fantastic teammate, great runner, seemed like a very good human being. So those would be the two for me. Zion Clark. I can't say Garrett Wilson because Garrett Wilson chose Ohio State over Texas. He specifically said why too. Like if you go to Ohio State, you're going to get developed, go to the NFL. If you go to Texas, you're taking your life in your own hands. So I fully understand. Like it would have been awesome to have him, and if we had the right system in place, we probably would have got him. But he chose Ohio State. So, but we did miss on Jackson Smith and Jigma. Ndamukong Suh, I'm sure I butchered that. I was running just to the 3-star 6-6. 100%. That's more defensive line, but I get where you're coming from. And 100%, it is when you're looking at the trenches, you want all the tools that you look for. You want to look at a human being. I'd rather have a big guy and try to develop that than a smaller guy I have to count on that is like plays big for his size, which usually doesn't happen, and then also has to have all that other stuff on top of it. So I would rather recruit gigantic human beings at the offensive line position, because even if they're like, let's say they're bad, they're at least hard to run around. Okay, that's pretty funny. Best running back. Michael Vick would have been a hell of a running back. Michael Vick was if he put in the time and if he was more mature, would have been a fantastic quarterback, but he just wasn't. And then unfortunately, when he, after the dogfighting scandal, came back, became more mature, became a better human being. And I like Michael Vick. I'm a big Michael Vick fan now. I believe in second chances wholeheartedly, especially if you spent time in jail. I think you deserve a second chance. And when you get out and if you make the best of it, I think you should be admired for that. And if he was more mature, he would have been a great NFL quarterback. That's a very good question. Do I think Quinn Ewers, he will be a better NFL quarterback than Colt McCoy? I don't know if he'll be a better college quarterback, because I think Colt McCoy, if you're just going by, I need my team to win a game, Colt McCoy is one of the 10 best college quarterbacks in the history of college football, in my opinion. If you're just saying, hey, I need to win a game. That's my opinion. You with OB, I'll check that out. What are you checking out? I don't know. I wish I was with Orange Bloods. That'd be pretty awesome. I'm not. That is my goal, though, is to get into sports broadcasting, stuff like that. Arches are overrated. It's hard to tell, to be honest with you. 100%. That's the thing. If you can get a big guy that can move, that guy's usually a great offensive lineman. That's like Tony, the guy for the Jaguars? I can't think of Tony Baselli. That's someone like that. Jonathan Ogden. Those guys are huge human beings that can move. That's special. That's what makes you great. If you can get a big human being who's just an average athlete, you can be a good offensive lineman, but you'll never be great. But I'll take good at this point. Like if we have a good offensive line, solid average offensive line with the talent we have around it, we can win 10 games with that. That's why I don't think we're going to win 10 games this year. I still don't think the offensive line is going to be very good. Orange Blood has an interview with Walton on YouTube and says why. Oh, really? I did not see that. Did that come out today? Because I did not see that. Like I said, all this stuff is happening so quickly, I can't keep up. I know we did it a couple hours ago. I'm up in Ohio at a radio station. I was actually on air at the time that happened, and then I came here. So. I don't think that's the case. He's a good player. And to be honest, it's kind of worth it, because if you're getting a decent player and then Malik Muhammad comes along because of that, I think it's worth it. I've thrown some shade. I had issue. I love Mac Brown, but I had issues the way he did things later on. I think he got lazy, and he'll tell you this. because he talked about it. Like, he just wasn't in it, and that's understandable. Like, guys that like Nick Saban, there aren't that many of those guys in any walk of life. There aren't guys that have climbed the mountaintop multiple times, which Mac Brown did. He got to 2 national championships and then just keep going at it. Those are very rare human beings. Most people, when they reach success, get a little lazy. Tom Brady, Nick Saban, Michael Jordan, those guys are rare. And that's why you should appreciate it when you see it. Orlando Pace was a Heisman candidate. Wasn't he like finished 5th or 6th or something like that year? Yeah, when because I looked at Heisman candidates like for the past 2 to 3 decades, and when I saw that, I was like, holy crap, that's surprising. Now, this is an interesting one. I like KJ Jefferson more than most people. He's going to have to get a little bit better throwing, but if you get into a Lamar Jackson type offense for him, I could see it. I mean, Lamar Jackson's not a great thrower, but he has a dynamic skill set, and the offense is built around him. 100%. That's why everyone admires him. I have a hot take on him as a basketball player. I have him as the 11th best basketball player of all time now, but we don't have to get into that. Well, we can get into anything. I'm willing to debate any sports topic on here, so I love debate. Earl Campbell versus Ricky Williams. Okay, so I've seen Ricky Williams highlights. I've never seen Earl Campbell. If you're giving me peak, I don't even know if I got to take Ricky, man. Ricky was spectacular in college. And then if weed was legal like it is now in the NFL, well, I believe it is, he would have. I mean, guys, go look at the all-time rushing leader stats, and he's top 15, I think. I'm pretty sure he's top 15. And this guy barely played in the NFL. Like, he had so many suspensions, so many problems. Like, if you're telling me he could smoke weed while he's in the NFL, he's going to be top 5 or 6 in rushing yards. So I'm going Ricky Williams. That would be fun. That'd be a lot of fun. Fifth, got to look at the percentages, man. Okay, we're going to do this real quick. Top 3, in my opinion, you cannot debate this in NBA, is Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kareem. Those are 3. I don't care what order you have them in. Those are your 3. They have to be your 3. If they're not your 3, there's something wrong. Those are 3 best basketball players that ever lived. I'm not going to debate that. You can debate from here on out, in my opinion. I got Magic Johnson. I got Larry Bird. I got Tim Duncan. I actually have the list written down because I just talked about this on my radio show. Number 7, I have Bill Russell. 8, I got Wilt. 9, I got Shaq. 10, I got Steph. He just got there. He was lower. 11, I got Kobe. 12, I got Hakeem. 13, I got Oscar. 14, I got Dr. J. That's my top 14. And I did 14 because you can debate for that 9th through 14th spot. But Shaq was a better player in his prime than Kobe, by the way, because they played together. And guess who won the MVPs in the finals? Shaq. Tim Duncan is the most underrated top 10 player ever. I don't know. Those are kind of counterintuitive, but go look at the stats. He dominated teams that had Shaq and Kobe on them. We were stopping 30 and plus 10 plus rebounds. So yeah. Yes, Wilt Chamberlain. Who did you think I was talking about? Earl Campbell all day, every day. Like I said, peak, I think you can debate that. Career, I don't think you can debate that. I think it's Ricky Williams. Minimum? Nah, come on, bro. No, that's too much. That's too much. It is a football show, but I like to debate, guys. So if you want to debate me in here, I gotta show. And that's my take. That's my top 14. And that's the thing too. If you come out and say you got top 5, you got to show me your top 5. So you got to drop that top 5. And no offense, I don't know how Kobe Bryant gets to 5. I got him. I could see him as high as, I could put him as high as 8. My 7, basically, you're locked in. 100%. And that's the thing too. Are we talking college or NFL? We're talking college. Earl Campbell has a better case, a little bit better case. NFL, not a very long career. And again, Ricky Williams when he was able to play, was a better running back for a longer period of time. That's the issue, is weed here. And if we're talking about just getting rid of weed for someone to be a better player, he's probably a better player. Or if he was allowed to smoke it, which he should have been able to, because they're giving guys shots and pills every day before the game. So you should be able to do that, in my opinion. Sir Uga. But this is a football show. So if you want to debate anything football-wise, I mean, I've talked about Texas recruiting and everything, and I think it's great. But until someone else big time comes along, and then when we get closer to the season as well and talk about that, there's really not much. Who is the next recruit to commit? I think it's going to be so I have the list here. I believe it's going to be either Malik Muhammad or Malik Harrison Pilot. So one of the Maliks. So Malik Harrison Pilot is an athlete. He's been talked about for a while. Malik Muhammad is cousins with Billy Walton. So I believe one of those two is the next to commit. I wouldn't be shocked if something happens tonight. Whoa. No. Stats do matter, and championships being the best player matter. Kobe Bryant was the best player on 2 championship teams. No. How long will Arch stay at UT? Probably 2 years. That's the goal. That would be awesome. Or 3 years if you include his redshirt, but playing 2 years is the goal. Steph over Kobe hurt my soul. I mean, he 3-peated. Yeah, Shaq was the best player. So was KD for 2 chips, then repeated with him. I like your list, though. Thank you. And yeah, that's the thing. Championships matter, but they're overrated in the aspect of, guess what? Would you rather have a guy lose in the finals or the first round? I'd rather have a guy lose in the finals because that means you got farther. Second, you also have to count MVPs and stuff like that for like how many you won in the finals. Steph only has 1, but he's just a better all-around player. The only thing Kobe Bryant really did better in Steph is defense. He's a better shooter. He's a better passer, rebounder. Obviously, for his size, Kobe's going to be better just because of that. And teammate, guys, you got to consider that stuff. Steph Curry's just a better teammate. David Hicks, there's a possibility. That's the thing with this Arch thing. All this stuff is opened up, guys. There's guys that we don't know about that could commit. That's 100% a possibility that was talked about on multiple sites of guys that have called the Texas program and been like, hey, we're open to you now if you want to, send a visit to, or if you want to schedule a visit. So that'll be interesting. KD was never better than Curry on Golden State. He was better in the finals, but KD never learned how to make his teammates better. 100% true. Look at Kevin Durant without Steph Curry, never won anything in his life. And I'm an Oklahoma City Thunder fan. I do not like the man. Everyone blames Russell Westbrook for not getting a championship. Go look at the last 3 games of the Warriors versus Thunder when they blew the 3-1 lead. Kevin Durant was just as bad, if not worse, than Russell Westbrook. I watched every one of those games. They're both to blame, but Kevin Durant was just as bad. Kobe motivated Shaq. Kobe made Shaq better. A little bit. I'm not going to say a lot because I don't think Shaq needed to be motivated, to be honest with you. He was just so big and talented that as long as he stayed in shape, which he barely did, then he was going to be good. Clutch, a little, yes. Inside, no. Steph Curry's one of the best finishers there's ever been in the history of basketball. That's the case. Look at the guy him and Kyrie Irving are insane at the rim when they get there for how big they are. And yeah, obviously Kobe was a better dunker. That doesn't mean much. I actually think Hudson Card transfers out because if Malik was smart, he would just spend this year, get developed by Sark, and then move on. I think that because he's not going to start wherever he goes. So that would be the smartest decision, in my opinion. Hudson Card could at least compete or go to a place where he could, if an injury happens, he'll be the starter. And then if he plays well, he'll be the starter in that next year. So that's where I would go. Personally, I think Hudson Card transfers with more Malik Murphy. I could be wrong on that. Okay, guys, we're going to go for probably 15 more minutes. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Really helps out the channel. I'm probably talking super fast, but hopefully I'm clear to you guys, and I really enjoy doing this. I do agree, but I can't, man. Kobe's 11th on my list. You can debate. Like I said, you might be able to change my mind and get him up to 9. But I can't. I just can't get him any higher than that. That's a good question. Texas, to my knowledge, has always been valued more than A&M, other than 2 years ago during the COVID year. That would come down. You'd have to look at a list of boosters and look at their net worth, which I don't want to waste my time doing, if you want me to be honest with you. We do, I believe, generate more than them, I think. But it would be interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Now that I think about it, I might do that. You maybe have gotten me to where I want to look at a list of old white dudes with a bunch of money and be like, oh, this guy's richer than this guy. This guy's richer than that guy. But yeah, if you're talking Bill Rupp, if you're talking about, I think it's even. Yeah, they're the two by far the richest programs. I know about 5 to 6 years ago, I looked at a list of merchandise sales, and Texas like blew out everyone. Like they made $100 million off the merchandise they sold, and then Ohio State or Tennessee was second, and they were a far and away second, like 70 million. Yeah, A&M doesn't scare me. I actually think Arkansas has a higher ceiling than A&M with Sam Pittman as their coach. He may not be flash and all that, but he has a lot of more substance than Jimbo Fisher, in my opinion. Last time I checked, again, something could have been added. It was 3. It's gone up like 12 spots or 15 spots in the past week. Keep these comments coming in, guys, because I really do enjoy it. Fighting truth. Wait until we get to the SEC and you'll see the difference. I don't know what that's, or if you're talking to someone in the comments. Yeah. But I do. That's why I think A&M was so scared, is because they knew on these 50-50 battles with Texas, they would win out most of the time, because guess what? They're in the SEC, and that does mean something. And now Texas has that. They're not going to win many recruitments head-to-head versus us. They're just not, unless they throw double the money, which I don't really care if they do at certain positions. And at some point, the money's going to dry up. And what I mean by that is 1 or 2 of these big-time commits isn't going to work out. And the boosters are going to be like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not paying that type of money. Here's half of what the other guy got. Web security, way better. Way better in every academic other than engineering, I believe. But everything else, yeah. I believe we were rated, the last time I checked, a top 15 public school in the country. I could be wrong on that. University of Houston, that would be interesting. I I I kind of hope we stay. Why UCF, Houston, Cincinnati, and there's another team I believe UCF join. I think that'd be really fun for 1 year. I really do. That'd be interesting. Ask Marcus Freeman. What am I asking Marcus Freeman? Fantastic coach, by the way. I do believe he's the Ohio State head coach in waiting when Ryan Day goes to the NFL, which I do believe happens in the next 5 years. They are a little weird. There's some weird stuff they do. Have you guys ever seen the callers? Like, they do some weird. Just go look at that video where they're basically a bunch of students, and it's like a call ritual. It's weird. 100%. That's actually part of the reason Oklahoma wanted to go to the SEC for a long time, and Texas distanced themselves, and they've always been tied at the hip. So when one leaves, the other one's got to leave, and Texas like, no, we're not going because of that. But now that it's like that doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Or what? Now that it's legal, it doesn't matter anymore. And I think Texas was just tired of. They're like, screw it, we want to go play with the big boys, and we'll play dirty pool if we want, because we're not winning anyway, so we might as well try that way. Ryan Day is way overrated. He's got like the one of the best winning percentages ever. What has he lost? 1 Big Ten game, 2? I can't go that far. And I doubted the guy when he was hired, but he's been great. He's a great offensive mind. I don't know if he's truly a great X's and O's coach. Again, NFL and college is different, because you get how you want to run your team. And if you're at these big institutions, you get the pick of your players, and you're like, okay, this guy fits my system, plug him in. This guy fits my system, plug him in. You can't really do that in the NFL, because there's so many teams. You can, but the problem is, if you can only coach that way, it takes you so long to get those guys in and then get them into your scheme and ready with the scheme. Whereas a plug and play guy, pick it up pretty quickly. Some guys you have to train, and you have to mold your team. It's more of, you have to coach with what you have in the NFL instead of recruiting to your system. And some guys aren't good at that. Urban Meyer, case in point. Why is it the norm for every prominent coach to move up to the NFL when it's proven almost never works out? There are some cases where it has. Obviously, Jimmy Johnson is the biggest success story of that. I think I'm trying to think of anyone else. Matt Rule hasn't done well so far. Jimmy Johnson's. And by the way, one of the 10 best football coaches ever. I'm not talking NFL, college, high school. I'm talking ever. All together into one. He's one of the 10 best ever. He did it at every level, guys. Again, young kids want to be wowed, and Billy Napier isn't a wow guy. He's a dig in there, grit guy. He'll develop well. I actually like that hire. It's just like human nature, guys. When you go one way, and it doesn't work, you flip all the way to the other way. Dan Mullen was all talk, kind of a douchebag, to be honest with you. And then you go to Billy Napier, who's a really nice, solid guy. He's going to develop better, in my opinion. We'll see if he can get. But you can't win a national championship unless you recruit in the top 12 consistently. You have to recruit in the top 12. I think Clemson has the highest or lowest aggregate, depending on what you want to say, of like the national championship winners in the past 10 years. They were like 11th or 12th when they won it. So that's my bar. That's where you have to be at minimum. And he's going to have to get there. I don't know if he can, but he has to get there to win a national championship. I think they can be good. I think they win 9 to 11 games a year probably. But I don't know if they'll ever compete for a national championship if he doesn't do that. That's a very good point. And no one in the Big Ten recruits close. The only two schools that I could see getting in their way if they could ever get anything right would be Michigan, Nebraska. But yeah, you're right about that. Guys, please, we've been going for an hour and 25 minutes. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Helps out the channel a lot. This isn't for me. This is for Mark. Please do that. He has a great channel at MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. It helps him out. Go over to his channels. Subscribe there. Like them all. Thank you very much. I said 12 consistently. That means 4 years of being 12 on aggregate. So if you're 12 one year and 30 the other year, it doesn't really help you. But yeah. D4 Sports. Looking for a Texas co-host. Are you saying you want to come on with me and work with me on the Texas channel? Because we can definitely contact each other, and I'd be down for that. I do like bouncing stuff off people. I'm better connected, obviously. You're welcome. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Thank you, James, for doing that. How will the bowl games fit into the playoff schedule? Not 100% sure. That's a good question. Are you saying this year or in general? Because it hasn't expanded, so it's the same. But if you're saying, if I'm guessing it, if it were to expand, you would take the biggest bowl games with the most revenue, money backing, and also the ratings, and you'd make those now playoff games, and then you would eliminate a couple bowl games, probably the least that no one watches. That'd be my guess. Yes, sir. So my question to you is, are you a Texas fan, or at least a Big 12 fan? And then are you able to hop on after every game? That'd be my question. And then I'd also have to talk to Mark. Mark would probably be fine with it, to be honest with you. Penn State recruits reasonably well, but Franklin is a complete trash coach. He only briefly won a little because he had Barkley. And Trace McSorley. I think that gets understated. He was a good college quarterback. But maybe some truth to that. We're going to see this year, in my opinion. They've got great recruiting classes a couple of years, so they need to win. That's another team in the Big Ten. If they got everything right, they could probably compete like Ohio State does. Bowl games won't exist. I disagree with that. I do think you'd have bowl games. You'd probably only have about 10 to 15 of them, though, instead of freaking 40, which I don't mind, to be honest with you. There are some bowl games that are just trash, guys. Can you do live YouTube? You want me to get drunk and do... Oh. Okay, here is the thing. If you guys can get this video to 500 likes, I will do a live show. Fuck, I shouldn't have said that. Plastered. Absolutely plastered. I'll drink live on air. I'll do a shot every 10 minutes. If you can get this video. This video needs 500 likes. Share it, like it, spread it out. Do it. I don't think it's 500. 500. Actually, 500 is reasonable. I take that back. 750. I was going to say 1,000. We'll split it. 750 likes. I will do a live stream drunk if Mark will allow me. If you get me to the 750, I'll ask. If you don't give me the 750, I'm not even going to ask. But I will do that. Is that what you're asking? You want me to actually do it? Is this a dare? It's going to be terrible. I'm going to let you know that right now. I'm going to sound like an idiot. We're probably going to go off on tangents. We already have. You got my personality. It's going to be sports. Could go somewhere else. Hopefully not. I bleed orange. Me and you both, brother. And it hurts to bleed like we've been bleeding the last 12 years. So, yeah. I'm going to be honest right now. People are going to hate on me when I say this. Favorite teams. Texas Texas football, basketball, any sport that Texas plays in college, baseball, obviously. Um, NBA, Oklahoma City Thunder fan. I'm going to be honest, I don't watch much NBA, but that's who I'd go with. NFL, Denver Broncos, and then Major League Baseball. Guess the team. You're going to hate on me, but guess it. What you doing in Ohio? I was born and raised, man. When I get a job in radio, I will move anywhere that I'm asked to move. That'll be interesting too, but I'm willing to move anywhere. I've looked at jobs in Alaska, so that will be interesting. I would love to do that though. Huge content. Okay, let me go here real quick. If you have a Twitter, my Twitter is MatthewMS97. DM me. Contact me. Do you think Mario Cristobal is actually going to let his offense corner call plays? I feel like that will make or break Miami. A lot of rumors. I mean, that'd be really stupid. I think he micromanaged the offense at Oregon, and they had Justin Herbert, and they were terrible. That's part of the reason, like, I applaud the Chargers for drafting Justin Herbert where they did, because that is very impressive how you saw through that, because he was not good in college. How did you become a Longhorn fan? Great question. So this is how I believe it happened. My aunt lives right next door to us, always has, always will, as long as we live there. And we would go over there for New Year's Day and watch the Rose Bowl. And they're all Ohio State fans. Well, Texas played Michigan the year prior to winning the national championship. And obviously everyone in the house is going to be rooting for Texas. So I rooted for Texas, and I've rooted for Texas ever since. And there's no way there was never even a doubt in my mind I would turn. I remember wearing my Vince Young jersey, my Rose Bowl jersey from the year prior to before they won the national championship, to Michigan, wearing it to school. And basically everyone was making fun of me, saying USC's going to kill us. And I was like, no, they're not. You need to watch. And they didn't. And I didn't even get to, by the way, I didn't even get to watch that game. I was 7 years old at the time. My mom made me go to bed, woke me up after the game and said, hey, Matthew, guess what? Texas won. I was like, oh, thanks. And I didn't realize what I was missing. I missed the best college football game in the history of college football. So thanks for that, Mom. 2005, correct. They won the national championship in 2006. That was the 2005 season. So it'd be the 2004 season, 2005 year when they played Michigan. Vince Young's knee was down, though. They weren't. Guys, go watch the game. They couldn't stop him all night. I don't care if his knee was down. We were going to win anyways. Yes, he did. I missed that game, too, because guess what? I'm 7, so I don't get to control much. And I got pulled out of the house to a festival. And I kept asking, this guy's very techy. He's my dad's friend. He had like one of the first iPhones. And I was asking him constantly, what's the score, what's the score, what's the score? And I got home for the post-game show. So, yeah. Yeah, I was too. And actually, the thing that scared me, the year before, people thought he was going to come out, and the Broncos would 100% taken him because he's 100% John Elway's type. John Elway, just like all of us, has a type, but his type is long, lean men. And that is what Justin Herbert is, and he was going to take. And I did not want him. I was wrong on that. But we got Russell Wilson now, so we're good. That is true. Texas, up until recently, hasn't been willing to pay coaches. They changed that with, obviously, Chris Del Conte had the athletic director spot. Yeah, I think he's willing to pay. I think he's willing to pay top dollar. I think that was fantastic. Hire for Texas basketball with Chris Beard. I think he'd be willing to do the same if he fired Steve Sarkisian. Okay, D4 Sports. I will check that out. I will get back to you. I probably won't check it out tonight, to be honest with you. My throat is sore, guys. I've been talking for 3 hours today, and I'm out of water. So we'll go. It's an hour 33. We'll go 12 more minutes. Hour 45. Heck, we may go longer. I lie all the time about that stuff. I'm enjoying talking to you guys. I like doing this, so we can go a little bit longer. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. Obviously, Mark, great brand here. You guys, this is what makes it great. You can interact with us. You can't do this on ESPN. You can't do this anywhere else. You can do this right here on YouTube with Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. Thank you. And if you guys want to talk NFL, any sport basically, and no one guessed my favorite MLB team, I'm really angry at that. No, I'm kidding. I don't care. I mean, I'm going to be honest. A chimpanzee should be able to beat Kansas. I should be able to throw Harambe, the gorilla that's dead. His bones should be on the sideline. We should be able to beat Kansas. Kansas is a garbage program. They have a great head coach, and Lance Leipold. He was good at Buffalo. I think he's a good coach at Kansas, but I don't know if he'll be any good since Kansas is so bad. Well, it can't be the Guardians, Cameron 2K. No, it's not the Guardians. Text name your top 3 favorite Longhorns of all time for the Longhorns. I like Colt McCoy. I think he's my favorite. I really do. So I would go Colt, Limas Swede. Who did I enjoy watching a lot? And those are 2. I'm trying to think because there's a lot of guys running through my head. I'm going to go Sam Ehlinger. I really appreciate what he did. He did a lot more than people realize. He's a great ambassador for this program. I'd go with him at 3. Boston, close, kind of. Hell no, though. That should tell you right there. I would coach Texas for $15 million. Message me. Man, if I had $15 million to give you, I would not. Well, I'd still be doing this because this is fun. But I would not be in this apartment. You'd see me out on a beach right now. Derek Johnson, Ricky Williams, Vince Young. I'm not old enough to remember or watch Derek Johnson. Same with Ricky Williams. Obviously, watch Vince Young. Love him. He's in my top 5, but he's not in my top 3. Shipley's up there as well. James Wilson. That's a very good one. Roger Dodger, you got it correctly. I'm not going to flash that up on the screen. If you guys want to read the comments, you'll know. Best team in baseball. I don't know if they won tonight. They were up 2-0 last time I checked. And that's the thing, too. When Texas gets good again, I'm going to get called such a – because I'm going to be honest. I used to be a Colts fan. I'm a Peyton Manning fan. Big. And when they won the Super Bowl, all I ever got when I said Colts and Yankees, oh, you're a bandwagon. No, I'm not. I've changed team one time in my life. One time. That was when Peyton Manning left the Broncos. I'm never leaving the Broncos. He's my favorite athlete ever. And guess what? He loves playing for the Broncos. I think he actually enjoyed it playing better than playing for the Colts. I think he liked the environment and organization. That's why he still lives in Denver. If Steve Sarkisian underperforms, do you think Texas would make a move for Urban? No, they would not. That ship has sailed. I don't see that. I don't see many teams wanting to hire him. Or is it just me, Tim, 79? It is a possibility he never hires, but there are some teams that would get super desperate and really want Urban Meyer and throw a lot of money at him because he does win, guys. At the college level, he does win. He's one of the 5 best ever to do at the college level. So a team could get desperate enough. I'm hoping Texas never reaches that point. I think it would take another failure after Steve Sarkisian, but I just don't see it. Underrated roster, loaded defense. I 100% agree. We're going to have a great defense. Offensive line is, thank you for saying good offensive line. Most people don't realize it's a top 10 offensive line now. It's the second best offensive line Russell Wilson will ever play behind. The best one was probably his rookie year in Seattle. And by the way, running backs, Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, it's a very good way. At AFC West this year, all 4 teams are making the playoffs. That's my bold prediction. Maybe that we would be desperate enough. I don't want him personally, but who knows? Yes, because that team that he had that lost in the first round to Abilene Christian, where I was on a phone call with one of my best friends who was in here earlier. And I told him, if Texas doesn't turn the ball over, we win that game by 20 points. We had, I think, 18 plus turnovers in that game. We lost by 1 or 2. So imagine you cut those in half, we win that game by 10 plus points. If we have a third of those turnovers, which we were one of the best teams at taking care of the ball of that season, we win that game by 20 points. So yes, he should have been fired. I disagree. I don't know what you're disagreeing about. Is all 4 teams in the AFC West making the playoffs? Billy Tuesday, they fired Dark. Javonte Williams. Got to correct that. Who would text Sark if they fired Sark? My guess, like I said, it's human nature to go back. So I think it'd be a defensive guy at this time. I don't know who it would be. I don't see this happening for 3 to 4 years. So most likely it's probably an assistant we're not concentrating on right now that becomes the hot name. That's my guess. Oh, don't get me wrong. This was at the time, guys, where sports was like legit. I love it still, but it's not everything. When from the ages from 10 to about 18, sports was everything for me. Like if my team lost, I still do get depressed a little bit, but it's like and especially in big games, when he got hurt, I was depressed a week after that national championship, like legitimately depressed. I didn't want to do anything. And it was because I really believe we win that game. We're within 3. Gary Gilbert was not playing well. We're within 3 late in the 4th quarter. Colt McCoy, I believe, wins that game. I truly believe that. But it is what it is. Oh, Urban Meyer, possibly. Raiders defense sucks. They aren't making the playoff. Dude, Chandler Jones and Max Crosby coming off the edge. I don't care who else you have on that defense. That's good enough to make you an average defense. That Chandler Jones is the most underrated pass rusher of this generation. I prefer Von Miller as the best of this generation, but obviously biased on that. But he's the most underrated. I think there's really an argument to be made for 3 players ahead of him, and that's Khalil Mack, J.J. Watt, and Von Miller. He's the 4th best, in my opinion. Random, but yes. Oh, college basketball officiating is terrible. Basketball is the hardest sport to officiate, but yeah, it's bad in college. I mean, don't get me started on that Texas Purdue game where we fouled them 50 times in a game. Or no, they shot 50 plus free throws. No, that's not possible. I don't care if the other team is being that aggressive. No one shoots that much in a game. It's not possible. We only shot like 12. That was way too much of a discrepancy. And then you saw the next game, they didn't get any calls because it's so much inconsistency. Chandler Jones watched him now. He was very good, but he's almost 30. He did nothing after week 1 last year. Yeah, but he's still, if he can give you 8 sacks, that's still very good. And it's going to take pressure off Max Crosby. Max Crosby is a good defensive player. They also made some other moves. I would have to, I know they made other moves. I'd have to look. Obviously, Devontae Adams, but I'm talking to defensively. I still think 9 wins, I believe, get you in the playoffs. And I think they can do that. I agree. AJ Milwee deserves a lot of credit. Seen Pac-12's refs. Horrible. Just in general, sports, and it got worse after COVID. I don't know what happened, if they all had a group meeting or like, we're just going to be really shitty now. Major League Baseball is bad this year. NFL wasn't great until later in the year. But there's some bad ones, guys. And that's the problem. When you have a union, these guys don't get punished. It's ridiculous. The AFC is very loaded. You're right. There's only like 3 teams in the AFC that can make the playoffs. Texans, Jets. There's one more escaping me. There's legitimately only 3 teams, and no other team any other team in the AFC could make the playoffs, and I wouldn't be surprised. I still believe that. I really do. I think the Raiders are going to make the playoffs. I'm guaranteeing 3, but I think 4 will get in from the AFC West. They also play the AFC South. That helps out a lot because that division is terrible. You're going to beat the Texans. You're going to beat the Jaguars. You got to worry about the Colts and Titans. That's really it. Wouldn't it be funny if Texas and you had played for a natty in 2 years? That'd be awesome. Be amazing. Yeah, I'd have to check. That's a good question. There's another team in the AFC that can't make the playoffs. I said it, the Jaguars. That's the 3 teams. And even they're going to be better this year. Just because you get rid of Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence in the second year, Travis Etienne back, even though they shouldn't have drafted him because James Robinson is cheap and he was one of the 5 best running backs in football when he played 2 years ago. I believe the dead period is the opposite. I'm not 100% read up on that. I believe the dead period is you can contact the school cannot contact you. It's very weird. They have this in high school. I didn't play high school basketball. I made the team quit because I'm stupid. Shouldn't have. I'm a Yankees fan, D4 Sports. And basically, high school is the same way. The coach could not contact you July through August, but you could talk to the coach. It was weird. Are you a Phillies fan? No. Like I said, Yankees. Steelers aren't making the playoffs. But they could. There's a debate to be had there. That's the thing. I'm guaranteeing these 3 teams don't. Would you guarantee the Steelers don't? Because I don't know. I think Mitchell Trubisky is actually better than Ben Roethlisberger was last year, and the defense is phenomenal. Well, this is a nice comment. Thank you. It's holidays for the coaches. Yeah, kind of. It's like the only holiday you get in college football, and even then you don't because you have to recruit the guys that are currently on your roster trying to get poached from other teams. Case in point, Xavier Worthy. Thank you, USC. No chucking. Oh. I still think the Browns roster is loaded, and they shouldn't have done what they did to Baker Mayfield because if Baker Mayfield's on that team, I still think they can make the playoffs. Like, he's not as bad as he was last year. He was really banged up, and that roster is loaded, guys. This doesn't make sense, but Chargers could 100% win 10 games. Chargers have a really good roster. Do my Commanders have hope making the playoffs? That division sucks, so yes, but I don't know. Carson Wentz at quarterback, I know he's a fellow ginger, but my God, that man is bad. I I've never seen anyone do that in the NFL either, where you play like an legitimate MVP, runaway MVP for a whole year, and then just terrible the next year. I've seen guys have really good years. But that was legitimately one of the best years I've ever seen, and then he was just god awful. Makes the playoffs. Why? The Bears made the playoffs. And that was with Matt Nagy, who's a god awful head coach, and Mike Tomlin is way better. Never missed the playoffs, never been under 500, or take the back, never been under 500 in all of his years coaching. So I'd want to think about that one if I were you, because the Steelers defense, that Steelers defense is, I think, is comparable. I'm not going to say they're as good as that Bears defense, but they're comparable. Wentz sucks. Heineke might literally that would not shock me. Heineke's actually pretty good. I've been impressed with him. I I don't know what they're doing. They're weird. By the way, you can't fire him. Dan Snyder needs to sell the team. Best roster in the NFL. The Bills have the best roster in the NFL. I think they're the best team in the football. I think if the overtime rules were like they are going to be this year, I think they would have beat the Chiefs, and I think the Bills would have beat the Bengals, because I don't see them going up to Buffalo winning. I think the Bills are the best team in football and the best roster. Chargers have a case, so they're top 3. Rams are also still very good. Who are the best gingers in NFL history? I don't know, man. There's not many of us. We're rare, okay? I don't know. That's actually a really good question. Yeah, Aaron Donald. They got Bobby Wagner, who's good, not great anymore, but he's still a very solid player. And you have Jalen Ramsey. So you have 3 guys that are really good at their respective positions and different ranges of the defense. So yeah, they're very good. Are you telling me the Steelers don't have an elite defense? Look at their stats, man. Come on. Come on. I beat you on this one. Look at the stats. That defense is very good. Now, could they take a step back? Yes. But I still believe in that division, especially if Watson doesn't play. Baker Mayfield's still good enough to get them to the playoff, but Watson takes them to that next level of winning a Super Bowl. I still believe the Steelers are going to at least be 500. And then if you win a game or two that you're not supposed to, that puts you in playoff contention. So I still believe the Steelers can make the playoffs. I think the Bengals finished 3rd in that division, or 2nd in that division this year. I think it's Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns. I'm not saying they will. I'm saying they have a chance. You guys are funny, man. The best. Now we're on the best gingers in NFL history. Drop them. Andy Dalton is definitely the one right now. Thank you, Hummus Hero. Secondary does have holes. I'm not saying they will make the playoffs, but they will be over 500. And if a game or two goes in their direction, they can make the playoffs. Best defense in the NFL, the Packers? No. I think the Chargers do have a chance. I think the Broncos have a chance. The Colts, the 49ers, the Rams. I think those are the teams I would look out for. The Steelers as well. Wait, was not good last year? Dude, they were like I believe they were top 5. They were definitely good. Maybe I'm just completely wrong, but I swear to God they were top 5. Ginger Gang Unite. I enjoy the very rare occasion when we switch the voice to the NFL. So this is fun. I'm a ginger too, by the way. 2 of us. 100% very underrated. And they added someone too on defense, didn't they? I forget. I think they added someone who was pretty good. Again, in the offseason, I kind of lose, but once I see the first game of every team, I know their whole roster, but I need to see it. I'm one of those people I visualize. Maybe. They're going to take a step back because, remember, they're playing a first-place schedule this year. That's different between the college and NFL. You don't get to make your own schedule. They have to play a first-place schedule. And every NFL team that loses the Super Bowl always takes a little bit of a step back. or a big step back in some circumstances. I swear they were good last year. You could be right. I swear they were good, though. I mean, they had to be at least good because Ben Roethlisberger was a corpse out there, man. He was terrible. 100%. The Bengals are only improving. O-line help, 100%. But the thing is, do you think Jamar Chase takes a step forward or stays the same or takes a step back? That's the thing. The Bengals could literally be the exact same team skill-wise and production-wise and still win fewer games because of the schedule they play this year. I don't know, because how would I know? How would I know from the people that I've kissed? I mean, I can ask them. It'd be a very awkward conversation. The Bengals have a huge advantage with Burrow on a rookie deal. I think Deshaun Watt's gonna get suspended the whole season. I fully believe that. I don't think he'll play a game this year. I don't watch the pros because of the knee thing. Like, huh? I'm confused. Most guys would. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. We're going for an hour and 50 minutes. I'm going to have to cut you guys off, though. If you want another live show next week, I don't know if I can do it on simulcast, but I'll be over the Texas channel. Just let me know in the comments. But please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. Oh, taking a knee? I mean, they take a knee in college too, man. Burrow got hurt as rookie. Yeah, I know, but again, the schedule. People really don't understand. That makes a big difference. And again, look at the Super Bowl losers. They don't get back, guys. A lot of them don't even get back to the playoffs. I forget the stat, but at one point, the Super Bowl loser hadn't been back to the playoffs in like a decade. So I don't see that. I 100% agree. He's definitely done something. I don't know what. Do I believe all 24 women? No, I don't. I'm willing to say that. Do I believe most of them? Yes. There are a lot of people who take advantage of situations like this where they jump on board and be like, oh, he did it to me too. And you end up getting some money from it. Do I think some of those happen here? Yes. Do I believe most of them are telling the truth? Yes. You can have both, by the way. Some people think you have to choose sides. And he is ew. And I 100% agree. But unfortunately, the NFL and society does not work like that. You can do bad things if you're great at something and you get more leniency. You can't always do them, but you get more leniency. Antonio Brown would be getting paid a lot of money right now and be in the league still if he was what he was with the Steelers. But he's crazy and he's not that good anymore. Agree to some extent, but youngness doesn't determine if you get injured or not. Blowing out an ACL rarely has to do if you're young or old. So that could happen. Very true. Most of life is gray area. 80% of life is gray area. Other 10 white, other 10 black. There were 2 grand juries and not one. Isn't a high character guy, but there isn't a police report. There's no evidence it's actually not. The thing is, dude, if you contact 24 people to give you a massage, that's weird to me. For the simple fact is, if you found someone who truly was good at giving massages, actual massages, I don't know, I shouldn't have done the quotations, then you wouldn't contact 24 people. Max, you would have 2 to 3. That's my thing here. Are you going to leave this up? I got here a little while ago. The whole video, yes, the whole video will be up. I think so. I think that's how it works. Every time I've done it, it stays up. I don't know if it goes up right away. That thing I do not know about. But I know it should be up. I have other live shows that are up. And Mark does cut it up and put it into segments, but he also keeps the whole thing up. Okay, dope. Yeah, it should be up. That's going to be a lot of watching, man. 153 minutes. When I say 153 minutes, an hour, 53 minutes. But yeah, I'll try to do this once a week, guys. If I can simulcast on here, that'd be awesome. If I can't, I'll just do it on the Texas channel. But yeah. It's like the sampler at Roosters. You want to get the best. Yeah, I'm sure it's like that. Oh, there. That's another. See, we can have another debate on that. Roosters, not good food, man. If we're talking fast food wings, I got 2 places 2 places only. Wimbledon, no. I do enjoy watching baseball if it's good baseball. I still think playoff baseball is exciting because every pitch is so unbelievably tense. Especially, I'm a Yankees fan, so we've gone far. We've also blown it against the Astros, which we won't get into that. But I go crazy when anything big happens in baseball. I wake people up in my house and do crazy stuff. Oh God, no! Come on, man. Oh, I like B-Dubs personally. I think B-Dubs has the best flavors, but Wingstop has the best wings. If you know, you know. That's fair enough. Regular season baseball can be boring. Oh, that would be fun. I've been in the National Stadium. My goal is to reach every Major League Baseball stadium. I've been to half. So I'll reach that, and of course, tragically die, which knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But that is my goal. I've been in the Nationals. I love that stadium. It's a very nice stadium. Probably in my top 5 or 6. Having do make some decent wings. I can't eat. I haven't eaten. I will say this: haven't eaten at Roosters in a minute. The atmosphere is pretty good, but I haven't been there. The best wings are Buffalo Wild Wings spicy garlic. I like Parmesan garlic, and the new lemon pepper are really good. Wingstop is their sauces aren't that good, but their wings are the meat is really good. It's really tender. It's good meat. Baylor sure looked good last year. They did. Baylor was phenomenal last year. Let's see if Dave Aranda can pull together 2 really good seasons in a row. If they can, I think they have possibly quite something special, and hopefully he stays. I really want to see programs like Baylor keep good coaches because it makes the sport better, in my opinion. And that does happen too. They're bad locations. The thing is, I've been to 3 different Frickers and I don't like them. I just don't like them. They're not that good to me. Roosters, I went to for a long time when I was little. We went there like every Friday and I loved it. Then I went there like 2 times when I was a teenager and it was terrible. I'll try it again. I'll give it another shot. I'm down to give another restaurant another shot every couple years. And things change. If we're talking fast food pizza, it's gone from, for me, Pizza Hut, Domino's, to Papa John's has been the most consistent throughout my life. It's just pizza, and guess what? Pizza is good. So that's got me through. Pizza Hut's gotten a lot better now. I don't know what happened. Domino's is crap now. The USF was so down for launch during the NBA and NHL plays, it would have had a chance. I just can't watch any other one. I can't, man. It's not football season. Like it has to be football season. My brain is programmed that way. The NFL has done a great job making it that way. I just can't watch other leagues or college football, obviously. B-Dubs, cheese curds. B-Dubs has really good onion rings too. They do have some. They just have a lot of food that people sleep on because they've never had it. Like, there's some good stuff. Donato's does have. They have pretty good pepperoni. I just can't eat that. Like, I've gotten sick the last 2 times I've eaten there, so it's not for me anymore. It used to be my favorite. Now I would say Pizza Hut or Papa John's is if we're talking fast food pizza. But Wing Pizza Hut actually does have some good wings. You want to hear a ripoff though? I try to order wings from Pizza Hut for 36 wings because I would eat them over 2 days. That was going to cost me $65. I'm not no. I would just go get Buffalo Wild Wings on a Thursday. It's buy one get one. You can get 60 wings for $25. So I'll do that. No. What do you think about Patterson from TCU? I like Gary Patterson. He always does a good job evaluating, developing, and that's what Texas needs. So I like it a lot. Would not shock me if he's the permanent defensive coordinator after this next year. Oh, 100%. Like it is cheap, but I'm willing to pay a little bit more to eat better pizza. And pizza's not that much more. And Papa John's, again, I've never had a bad pizza from Papa John's. I've never had a great pizza, but I've never had a bad one. Also, random question, but we're almost 2 hours into this. If you had to eat at one fast food restaurant, fast food, that means, in my opinion, they have to have a drive-through or something similar to that. It has to be quick. Where would you eat the rest of your life? Go to your pizza from, 100%. I'm from Ohio, so we have Donato's. They're kind of like a fast food chain pizza in Ohio. They're very good. Donatos, by the way, not Domino's, Donatos. But I want that question answered. Don't be cheapskates. Motto to live by. Unless you absolutely have to, not judging. But if you can't afford a couple extra dollars, go get something better for you. But Lee's Famous Recipe, sister company of KFC. Okay. For the rest of your life. So you're going to eat chicken the rest of your life. Remember that. This is the rest of your life. You're going to have eating chicken the rest of your life. That's why I wouldn't do that. If I had to do fast food, I'd go Wendy's. Last time I ate a Godfather's pizza was in Austin. Godfather's is good too. Easily. Wow, he's doubling down. He's saying Lee's Famous Recipe for the rest of his life. Fair enough. I couldn't eat one thing. I have to eat different things every day. I cannot eat the same thing. I can't. There's only 2 guys here that Chick-fil-A. I'm not from Columbus. I'm from the Dayton area. And I told the story. You're going to have to go back and watch the video. Like it. Go back and watch it. It's probably around the hour and 30 mark. You'll see. I'm fattening just reading this chat. Only 2 people answered fast food place. You have Chick-fil-A and Lee's. Both chicken places, by the way. And if I did have to choose a chicken place, I'm choosing either Cane's or Chick-fil-A. And guys, I'm the type of person where I don't eat a lot on day-to-day basis compared to most people. And then there are days I just splurge and eat ungodly amounts of food. Like I've had 16 wings in one sitting. Yeah. And I'm not fat. Used to be. But man, I'm disappointed. I wanted to know more choices. I wanted to get a debate going on that, but yeah. But I agree. If you can go to a local mom and pop shop for anything, that's where you got to go. They do have pot pies, red beans, right? That is true. I haven't had Lee's in a minute, but I liked it when I've had it a couple times and I did like it. It's better than KFC. But if I have to go chicken, I'm going Chick-fil-A. Cane's is for kids. Fair enough. I'm a big kid. The sauce is best chicken restaurant is Popeyes. There we go. So we're 3. Wait, is that the place you would eat at the rest of your life? Is Popeyes? So we got Popeyes, Lee's, and Chick-fil-A. I agree. If you're just talking like chicken, like drumsticks and breasts and thighs and stuff like that, Popeyes is pretty good. Cane's is good, but only because their chicken is high quality and the sauce is really good. If you eat the chicken without the sauce, it's very bland, but it is high quality chicken. It just doesn't have much flavor. In-N-Out, never had it. Never had Whataburger either. So that's the thing. I'm not going to get these specific chain ones because I just don't have it. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to call it a day. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. If you want to see another live show like this, simulcast between Mark and the Texas Football Channel, comment whatever day. Also comment the time and days that work the best for you. I want to get as many people as we can in here so we can grow this channel, grow this platform. It's been awesome talking to you guys. Have a good night.